Welcome to the CAA 2022 webinar series. Today's webinar is Women in Leadership, Real Women Fix Each Other's Crowns, presented by Julie Pantadossi and proudly supported by Total Coaching Academy. Thanks so much for joining us and please enjoy.
Hi, my name's David Waters and I'm the Chief Executive of the Council of Ambulance Authorities. Welcome to the latest in our webinar series. Today's webinar is titled Women in Leadership, Real Women Fix Each Other's Crowns. Do you struggle with motivation on purpose? Do you get overwhelmed trying to take care of everyone around you, often taking care of yourself last? Do you have limiting beliefs that stop you from living your life to the fullest? If this sounds like you, then you're not going to want to miss this session. In this up-close and personal session, Julie will share her own experiences while teaching you how you can use your own cape and superpowers to be the best version of yourself you can be, and how this will impact on the lives of those around you. So our speaker today is Julie Pantadossi. She's the CEO of Total Coaching Academy, one of Australia's most sought after coaches and trainers. Her business consulting is revolutionary and helps leaders make the shift from ordinary to extraordinary through simple and effective tools. She's trained companies such as Qantas, BMW, Porsche, Kenneth Cole, just to name a few. She is an NLP master and cognitive behaviour coach. Enjoy the session. Welcome, Julie. Great to see you again. Thank you.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Julie. I'm absolutely honoured to have you here and I'm really excited about sharing with all of you superstars, not only you women who are in leadership roles, but some men as well. And really, if you think about what leadership is just having a willingness and a want to influence those around you in a positive way. So you don't have to be in a formal leadership role to be a leader, right? You just have to want to inspire, motivate people. And I guess if you're a mother, if you are, responsible for someone, if you're caring for parents, if you've got small children, if you've got grandkids, if you've got pets, we just all take on that mindset of inspiring those around us by showing up and really being the best version of ourselves, humanly possible, right? So today is not about making you better because something's wrong. And I think sometimes, especially as women, we come from a place of more. And we'll talk a bit about that today, coming from a place of need. And this is the complete opposite. This is coming from a place of acceptance and really leading with ourselves first. We can do anything. So welcome. And really that is what manifestation at the highest power is believing we can do something. And it starts there. So welcome to all of you. First of all, I'm a business coach and I'm also a personal developer. I will tell you a little bit more about myself in a second, but what I want to do for you today is teach you the importance of leading with yourself first, putting yourself and your needs first before you can take care of others. And you'll know if you've ever flown on an aeroplane, back 1,000 years ago when flying on an aeroplane was natural for us to do, remember those days, and you sit on the plane and you listen to those amazing cabin crew and they tell you that you need to put your own oxygen mask on first and then help others. And that really resonates for me so well. As a mother of 3 teenagers, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, that just resonates so well for me first. I'm going to make sure that I've got what I need first. I'm going to lead with myself first and make sure that I've got all the things that I need. Healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy mindset, so that I'm in alignment with myself and then I can help those around me. And so many times I meet and train leaders who are out of alignment. So their mind, their body and their spirit are all working away from each other. So today's about bringing it back right here so that we can move forward and we can move forward with joy and with happiness, whatever is going on in our life, right? I'm an NLP master trainer, which is the highest qualification you can have in my field of coaching, where we certify and can certify more coaches and more leaders. I do some hypnosis work, and I'm trained with Tony Robbins. So I'm sure most of you know who he is, and I get to speak and present around stages all over the world, and I'm one of the top 5% of the speakers for our country. So it's really an honor to be here for you today. So we do one-on-one coaching, we do laser coaching, we do events, and we really take leaders from where they're at and really help them become the best version of themselves. So making our better even better. And you'll know what it's like if you've ever had someone in your team or around you who just knows it all, has done it all, and there's no room for growth. And we never want to be there. We always want to be learning to make our better even better. And through such challenging times at the moment, we're trying to juggle everything. I think it would be fair for me to say that many of us struggle with our mental health, struggle with our energy, struggle with lots of things that are happening around us. And most of the issues, I guess, and I never use the word problem, and the word problem when you're in a leadership role really needs to be taken out of your vocabulary. A leadership, when we're talking about leadership and we use the word problem, it sets us up thinking that things are going to be hard. So we remove the word problem and we say challenges. So challenges are something that we can overcome and we can move forward from. But sometimes the things that block us, especially for those of us who are time poor, have low energy and are just struggling with our self-worth, usually that's the biggest challenge I find in women, especially women in leadership, is that self-doubt. Will I be good enough? What if they judge me? What if they find out I don't really know what I'm doing? And I think that's definitely been the secret of my success. I've been coaching and teaching and presenting for over 20 years now. And in order to be one of the top 5% in the country, I must be doing something right. And if you wait for confidence to come and tap you on the shoulder, you will be waiting forever because it just doesn't come. I don't think we ever get to a point where we just stand in this place of confidence, where we just feel like we know it all. We're coming from a place of in our highest power. And sometimes it's just almost believing in ourselves, believing in our worth, and knowing that nothing will stop us getting in our way. We will remove all the blocks, all the obstacles out of our way so that we can be living in our higher purpose, so that we can become fully embodied and really take ownership over where we're at, what inspires us, what our deepest desires are, and so that we can work at that highest level. And I just want to put something out there now. Sometimes what we think is that means more things. So we've got to change jobs or be working in a field that's going to fulfill us more, maybe in a different team or a different environment. And actually, they're just things and feelings that we want to experience. So have a think about it. If you've got this deepest desire or this deepest goal to buy your dream home or to buy a beach house or to find someone who loves you the way you deserve or to work in a job where you're just fulfilled every single day, right? Those things, yes, sure, we can go and get those things and we can create those things for ourselves. But when we're working at the core, which is the center of our desire, we need to ask ourselves, if I achieved those things, what would those things give me? So if I was working with the most supportive team in a work environment where I just felt so fulfilled every single day, what will that give me? If I found someone to love me exactly the way I deserve, what will that make me feel? Is it maybe worth it? Is it maybe loved? And so then going back to our team, if we're, looking for something more, getting your beautiful dream house, what will that give you? Will it give you freedom? Will it give you stability? Will it give you security for your family? And sometimes those things that we so desperately, especially as women, we go looking for things all the time. And actually those things sometimes, most of the time, are right here. We already have them. They're already within us. Are you looking for happiness? Are you looking for love? Are you looking for more joy? Are you looking for more fulfillment? Actually, nobody can give us those things. So sometimes you'll find people who are constantly moving on in the workplace, right? They work in one team and then want to move into another role, and then that doesn't fulfill them, so they're looking for something else. When actually, if you can just look inside yourself and go, hang on a minute, could it be possible that I already have these things in me? Could it be possible that the love that I'm looking for someone else to give me is already here? Could it already be here? And when you find that you already have what you need, your self-worth just grows. And that is when we're working at the core. And that is what I do as a coach, is I remove all the layers and we go straight to the core. So it's very deep work. And usually the thing that gets in our way is actually ourself. I mean, have a think about all the challenges that you've had to overcome. And you will know that when you shift your mindset, when you change the way you think about something, you will definitely create a different result for yourself. So I'm very results driven, realizing that we lead with ourselves first and the inner work has to come right here. And I know that would resonate so well with so many of you, but yet so many of us women and men still have this imposter syndrome, right? And I really feel like social media gives that to us. And it's really good to be mindful of how much time you are spending on social media. And most times people say, oh yeah, but I don't spend very much time. And then when you actually look at how much time you are spending on social media, through the app on your phone telling you how many hours you spend, especially when someone says to me that they have no time, no energy, and yet they can spend 4 hours a day on social media, right? Now, if you spend 4 hours a day on social media and you get something back from that, and you're leading with yourself first and it makes you feel great, then that's fine. But if it's contributing to possibly your imposter syndrome, this is where our worth comes from, is our imposter syndrome. Just feeling like we're not good enough. Feeling like people might think that we're a fraud. People might think and be saying things about us when actually that is just all what we believe to be true. So in order for something to be a fact, in order for that to be completely a fact, that people will think that you are not good enough, that has to be true to 100% of the time, to 100% of the people, for it to be a fact. Because the rest of the time, what we hold on to is our beliefs. And usually our beliefs actually stop us living the life at our truest, highest purpose, because we lack self-worth. We lack self-worth because of where we go to get our inspiration from. So something has to be true 100% of the time to 100% of the people for it to be a fact. The rest of those things that we say, that chitter-chatter in our brain, that chitter-chatter from our conscious brain, is just beliefs, what we think is true, what we believe. And when we have beliefs that hold us back from achieving our goals, when we say things to ourselves that become our limiting beliefs, well, I'm not good enough, I couldn't go for a role like that, because that only happens for other people. I'm not trained enough, I'm not skilled enough, I don't have enough. When we come from that place of lack, those beliefs that we hold on to, you get to keep them. They become yours for the rest of your life. And sometimes some of those beliefs have been instilled in us, most of those beliefs, from our early childhood, from those first 7 years of our life. That's where our beliefs come from. So I'll always ask people, do a little bit of work around, what do you remember of your childhood, those first 7 precious years. Some people won't remember much at all, and some people have a vivid memory. And you might have something that you call on straight away and you go, oh yeah, I remember watching my parents argue in the kitchen. I remember my dad giving my mum a hug when he came home from work. I remember my mum always complaining that we couldn't afford things. So these beliefs that are instilled in us as children become the stories that we tell ourselves as adults, and we're not even aware of it at all. because these beliefs are stored in our subconscious, way in the back of our mind, and we don't even know that they're there. So we live our life thinking we're living our best life, but actually what we're doing is coming from a place of lack, where we're looking for more because we don't feel like we're enough. Can you imagine for 1 second transforming those beliefs? Can you just imagine saying, well, I'm going to change those beliefs. Those beliefs aren't going to be my truth anymore because they're just beliefs. I'm going to reprogram and rewire my brain. And when you can do that, and we'll talk about that a bit later, you become limitless. And when you become limitless, you can smash any goal or any desire that you want. And then you become this fearless woman that always leads with herself first, and does it in a way where she's always serving others. It feels like she's serving others, but she comes from a place of first, leading with herself first. And just because sometimes as women, I think we think that if we want to lead with ourselves and put our own needs first, it means we have to be selfish. And I'm not talking about being selfish, because that belief, when we talk about being selfish, that belief of being selfish comes from a place of unkindness. And the most authentic, amazing leaders I know, kindness is one of their first attributes. You think about someone that's led you in a team, and when they're kind, when they come from a place of serving others, you are always going to want to follow them. So 2 types of leaders: those who have a leadership on their head. And so I come in and I'm your new CEO, your new managing director, your new team leader. People say, this is Julie Piantadosi. That's a big surname, right? It's my husband's, Piantadosi. This is Julie Piantadosi. She is your new leader. Well, all of you will follow me because that's the authority that's been given to me. So when I ask you to do something, or I'm motivating you, usually you will just do what I ask you to do. And that's formal leadership, right? But the leadership that I like to talk about is leadership that comes when people follow you just because they want to. And if you're raising children and you can empower your children to become leaders in their life, where wherever they are, whatever they do, they're actually motivating and inspiring people, showing them what's possible, showing them that the glass is actually half full rather than half empty, showing them solutions rather than problems, inspiring them so that they feel better about themselves, helping people make their better even better. It's just a mindset shift. Anyone has that ability. It's actually not a trained skill. People get too caught up on training people to be the most effective leaders ever, where really we don't want to be a formal leader. We want to be an effective leader where people follow us because they want to, because they trust us. And when you have that trust, when that trust is formed and you build that rapport where people trust you and they want to be around you, then you can achieve anything with that team. But if that trust and that rapport hasn't been built, then everything becomes hard. And I know that you know what it's like to be around that environment. It's like night and day. So we want to get out of our own way. Just remove all those blocks, all those limiting beliefs. You don't want to hold on to them. Free yourself, let them go. Step into your highest power. Really, and when you start stepping into your highest power, and we start doing things like, accelerated manifestation, it's really important when you want to shift something or change something. Most of the stuff we do happens between our heart and our throat. And you'll know, like me, if you suffer from any sort of anxiety or depression, because every second person suffers from something these days, you will know that these 2 things are right here. They're linked here. It feels like your depression and anxiety, when you think of the physical symptoms, is right here. There's a big link between our throat and our heart. Our heart is what we use to love, and our throat is where we feel pain. So when you feel anxious, when you feel like your self-worth is becoming unstuck, you'll feel the lump in your throat, right? It feels dry, hard to swallow. like what's here. It's like right here. Sometimes it can feel like I can't breathe. I'm having a heart attack, and then that pain can often stretch out right into our shoulder tips. So we've got physical pain, that physical pain, which if you've ever had that physical pain, you'll know just how difficult it is to shift it. And it's really important that when you are trying to transition through blocks, whatever those beliefs are that you say to yourself that stop you living your life at your highest purpose, showing up to the workplace in your highest purpose, being that woman that you need to be for those around you at work and at home, you need to take ownership over what those things are that you say so that you can shift them literally out of your body. Sometimes when I do this deep work, someone will say to me, I can feel it in my legs. That's where the pain is. So we have to shift it out of the legs so that you can get rid of that toxic energy that we hold on to that physically makes us feel sick, tired, drained, sluggish. Everything is so hard. And when we get out of our own way and we can shift that and go, well, I'm going to change those beliefs and I am powerful, I am worth it, then we can achieve anything. And if you've got some pen and paper, I always say if you come to one of my presentations, always have a pen and a paper. So just get some pen and paper for yourself right now. And if I had to ask you to write down the amount of money that you're worth, I want you to have a little think about that for a second. What is that amount of money that you're worth? So how much money do you think you're worth in a year? So it could be, what your salary is, could be what you want your salary to be. I want you just to write down that figure. It's not a trick question. I'm not going to ask any of you to tell me what that answer is. Just go ahead and write down what that magic number is for you. What are you worth? Just write that down for a second, right? Just write it down. Some of you might have written down 50,000, might be 100,000, might be 150,000, whatever that amount is for you, right? What are you worth? What do you think your worth is for this coming year? And now I want you to get a pen and put a line through that amount of money, and I want you to double it. So if you wrote 100,000, I want you to write 200,000. If you wrote 150, I want you to write 300, and you'll feel the blocks come up. Oh, I could never be paid that. That's too much. You can feel the blocks come, right? Now, let me tell you something so powerful right here, right now. What we do and what we charge for, our services, our time, showing up to the workplace, that's what we get paid to do, right? That's what we get paid to do. It has nothing to do with our worth. Nothing at all. You are not worth 150,000, 300,000, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. That is not what you're worth. You are priceless. You are absolutely priceless. And when you understand the difference, what we do and what we get paid for is not who we are and what we're worth. Those two things have nothing in common with each other. Your self-worth has no price on it. So I want you to just to remember that when you are working on what it is that's important to you. And you would have heard me talk about that deep desire. And usually when I ask someone who's sitting in front of me, what is your deepest desire? What is the thing that you most desire in your life? The question I always hear is, I don't know. And whenever you are coaching someone around mindset or helping them shift from the problem to the solution, always slow right down. Just slow it right down. Just slow it right down and talk less and just ask some questions and let the person in front of you, let the coachee find the answers. So what is your deepest desire? I don't know. That's the first thing you say. Actually, you do know. Think about a time when you felt at your happiest. Think about a time at your happiest, who you were around, what you were doing. And then you can think about a time at your saddest, at a time when you felt the most unfulfilled you ever have in your life. Who were you with? What were you doing? That will show you the complete opposite of what your why. In order for us to lead with ourselves, we have to know our why. And people can spend their whole life looking for their why, or they can write 3 words down right now and go, this is why I do what I do, because this is what I want to feel. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to create. It's not the big things that matter in life. It's not getting the car or getting the beach house or getting the dream job. It's not those big things that matter. And in the workplace, it's not the big things that someone does that we go, oh my God, she is amazing. Oh my God, he is a superstar. It's the tiny little things, but doing those things consistently all the time creates momentum, creates change, creates the ordinary to extraordinary. It's just the small things. So when you're working at your core, when you're working at your why, just remember it's the small things that matter, not the big things. Definitely not the big things. I often talk about your push and your pull factors, whether we're working towards our goal or away from our goal. And this is so true when it comes to goals. Most people say, well, this is what I want to achieve. I want to achieve this. So in order for you to achieve this, when you get that, how will you feel? So if you're doing any work around goals, the goal is the easy part. This is what I want to achieve for myself in the next 3 months at work. This is what I want to achieve for the next 6 months. To set the goal is the easy task. So now we know that the goals are not really what our deepest desires are. The deepest desire is how we'll feel when we achieve that goal. So what will you get? How will you know that you've received a goal, that you've smashed that goal? How will you know? So a lot of the times what we do is when we're working towards goal, without us even realizing, we're actually moving away from our goals. So we say things like, I really need to stop snacking at night so I can lose some weight. I really need to start, doing something more positive for myself so I can feel better. So we're focusing on the negative, and our brain, the way it's wired is it can't make the difference between whether it's positive or negative. It can't tell the difference between if something is a fact or if it isn't. So it just believes what it is that we tell it, and it removes some of those words, and all it hears is how hard it is, right? So we're actually moving away from our goal instead of moving towards it. And when we lead with ourselves, we're working towards our goal. So we want to remove those blocks. What are the things that we do that self-sabotages us moving forward? What are the things we say? Things like, that won't happen for me, it only happens to other people, I'm too busy. Usually the word that comes after because is where the block is. I really should make better choices and start exercising, but it's really hard for me because there's the block after the because. I never have enough time. I'm a single mum. I've got too many children that, drain all of my energy. Whatever those things are, that is what the block is. So when we go straight to the core and we work at that block and we remove those blocks, then we start working towards our goal. And just remember that when we're working away from our goal by saying things that, are our limiting beliefs, coming up with all the excuses, when we say those things, we hold on to them and we believe them, and we believe them because it's our fear that gets us in the way. And if you know what fear is our ego. And our ego is that thing that we see and we hear all the time. Now, please know this, your ego, when something doesn't feel right, when it's not, when you start feeling uncomfortable, when that won't work, that's not a good idea. Your team leader or yourself, you might be, trying to empower those around you, and you might be saying this new thing that's going to happen, and the fear will come up. And you'll hear things like, well, that's not a good idea, that won't work, hasn't worked in the past. They're all beliefs. They're all limiting beliefs that people hold on to stop them moving forward. So if people are holding on to those limiting beliefs, they're never going to apply and work on the goal. And it's our ego that gets in our way. And when you hear the word ego, we think that ego is driven around what we look like, how we present ourselves, taking selfies, and it's none of that stuff. Ego is right here. It's within us. It's right there. Sometimes it's ugly, but rather than go, I can't feel like that, I want you to ask yourself, when ego presents itself to you, what is this ego trying to show me? My thoughts about that other woman, saying, who does she think she is? Consciously in my brain, who does that woman think she is, showing up here thinking she's better than everybody else? There's my ego. Because remember, what we see in others, we can only see something in others if it is already within us. I wouldn't be able to see that. I wouldn't know what that feels like if it wasn't already here. So it's already within me what I'm feeling about this woman. So I will bring it up, and rather than move away from it, I can't be feeling like that, that's wrong of me, I will say, wow, what is it about this woman that makes me feel like I'm not good enough? What is it about this woman that makes me feel like she's better than me? And when two women can show up like that, remove their own limiting beliefs and know that it's got nothing to do with that woman, and actually my ego is here to serve me and to show me what my learning is right now. Everything is a learning, everything. And when you can find the learning in the negative behavior that we have, in the negative energy that we have, and in the negativity around other people, then you can change anything you want, right? So your belief is your belief, and we can actually change some of those beliefs. So what I'd love you to start saying is easy for me. I want you to start finishing your sentence with all of this. This is accelerated manifestation at its finest, and you can just apply this in any area of your life. So, having a busy working life and taking care of my family is easy for me. Working really long hours and having a lack of sleep is easy for me. Being the best I can and having people authentically like me is easy for me. Leading people in the most amazing way possible comes with ease for me. If you just start finishing your sentences, remove all those blocks and really step into your highest desire of ease. Because what we do as women, let me tell you what we do. We are programmed and conditioned to go hard. You gotta work hard, right? You gotta work hard. And we have some sort of a superhero. If you're a single mum and you're working a full-time job and you're working hard and you're running the house and you're just working so hard, it's supposed to be glorified. There is no glory in working hard to the point of burnout. When we work hard, it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable, and you'll know when you're working hard. And by the way, single mothers, my sister has recently become a single mum, raising 3 boys all on her own. You are amazing, right? You are amazing. And being a single mum comes so easy for you because you are amazing. Don't you ever forget that, right? And so let me come back to where I was. Where was I? So our beliefs and what we say and what we think, we can actually change it. And when you start changing that stuff, then amazing things will start happening for you. So start being mindful of that. And when we do that, when we change some of those beliefs and we let go of those beliefs and we go and stand in what I call your circle of excellence. Now, this is a gift that I'm gifting every single one of you today, right? You're not going to find it in your Dropbox. It's not going to appear in your emails. I'm not going to post it to you. I'm giving it to you right now as a gift to every single one of you. And this gift is your circle of excellence. And this gift is something, your circle of excellence is something that you just draw on the floor, literally, not physically draw. You just draw it in your mind. And you can be having the worst morning ever. You know, one of those mornings where you wake up and your alarm didn't go off, you get in the shower and, the pressure's low, you put your makeup on and you get in the car, You ever check on your eyebrows in the car? You go, whoa, what happened there? What did I draw on my face, right? Or your lipstick's all smudged, or you've had a meeting with someone in the morning and there's lipstick all over your teeth and you're like, oh my God, today is the worst. And then you've got your kids texting you all day long of things that's wrong with them, and this is going on and that's going on. There's all this stuff going on and you're actually having your worst day ever. And you have to show up to work with all this stuff going on. Now, let me tell you, if we allow the workplace, and we're human, so that stuff does go on, absolutely. My mornings definitely start like that some days. But we get the power. We get the power to know that we can't change any of those things that are happening outside of us. It's outside of our control. But what I can do is focus on my energy. And this comes from, I now remembered where I was before, slowing down. And when you slow down, rather than doing everything fast. As women, that's that going hard, right? Work hard, go to the gym, train hard, train really, really hard. And you'll find that everything you do fast. You ever notice that you eat fast? You'll go grocery shopping really, really fast. If you've ever taken a partner with you and your partner is so slow, because everything we do is fast. We talk fast, we eat fast. Sometimes you'll go through a set of traffic lights and you'll be like, whoa, was that red or was that green? Because everything we do, we're doing this fast of going hard, of burnout. When you just focus on your breath work, put your hand on your heart, come right back to who you are, what you believe to be true, how amazing you are, how this morning isn't going to be like this all day. This is just going to be a crappy morning. But right now, I'm going to go and stand in my circle of excellence. And that's the gift that you get. You draw this circle of excellence on the ground and you just go and stand in it. And as soon as I stand in my circle of excellence, because my circle of excellence shifts my mindset, I start focusing on what I can do rather than what I can't do. I start focusing on what I am in control of rather than what is outside of my control. I start focusing on who I can influence rather than what I can't influence. When I shift that mindset and I say to myself, this is going to be an amazing day and that's going to be easy for me. I'm going to create the most amazing day ever because I deserve that. And that circle of excellence changes everything. And I really call that taking accountability and responsibility for everything that's happening around you. Living at 100, living at 100% accountability and responsibility and making zero excuses for myself. I'm in charge of my own happiness, like you're in charge of your own happiness. You are not responsible for the happiness of somebody else. You're not even responsible for the happiness of your partner or the happiness of your children. We think as parents that is our highest desire. My 15-year-old daughter had the worst mental health humanly possible. This is my daughter, who everything we do is about working at your highest power, living in your circle of excellence, going slow, knowing your worth. And I couldn't fix my child. And she was homeschooled for 2.5 years, and she would have some days and some weeks of, she'd go 8 or 9 days of not getting out of bed, not having a shower. It was the most hardest part ever for me as a mum, not being able to fix my child. And even though I have this liability and this want, right? She's my liability, but I love her. We, as parents, we have unconditional love. This is unconditional love that we have for our children. And I have this burning love, unconditional love for my daughter, but I am not responsible for her happiness. And by the way, mental health, depression, anxiety, if you've got family members around you that have it, it is not supposed to be something that we have forever. We are supposed to move on from it and learn to live with it, whatever that means. And you'll be happy to know that my beautiful 15-year-old daughter has gone back to school this year. And that is what is possible. So sometimes we can have the most horrible things around us happening, And if you've ever got a child that's got, drug abuse or mental health or not knowing what their future looks like or going through a terrible breakup, you'll know how that affects you as a parent. It really hurts because we have this unconditional love, this nurturing, I want to fix you. And actually, we're responsible for our own happiness. We can't save anybody. But what we can do is put ourselves and our needs first. Lead always with ourself, right? Lead always with ourself. So, I hope that's really helped you all today. I prepared a big PowerPoint, but I think I'm at my cutoff mark now. And I hope that I can come back and continue to inspire you. I really feel like this is my highest calling, is to be able to inspire and motivate others now, and that's my way of paying it forward. So I honour you all for being here. I just want to finish up here with your energy, and you'll know that before I jumped onto this Zoom today, I went and stood in my circle of excellence. I took a couple of deep breaths, reminded myself how amazing I am and how no amount of money is worth what I give, who I am, what I stand for, and what I believe in. And that energy, when you bring that energy to what you do, you will find you will become a magnet, and other things around you will meet you where your energy is at. And that's why people who radiate with low frequency, with low energy, will attract that in their life. Think about the people you spend most of your time with, not just your family, right? That's just a given. I'm talking about the people closest to your family. Your friends might be work colleagues, those 5 people, your circle. And it's usually only about 5 people that we spend most of our time with, right? Could be 5 couples or 3 couples and 2 people at work that you get along with. Their energy is a complete match for your energy. That's why when you hang out with those people, it feels so good. That's why sometimes you'll have someone in your team where your vibration is right up here and their vibration is right down here, and you're not even aware of, oh my God, everything about this person is so hard. You're just not a match for each other. But as leaders, as women being amazing at what we do, being the most effective leaders ever in all areas of our life, our energy needs to vibrate at the highest frequency. And if you want to attract your deepest desires, amazing people in your life, then you will be focused as standing in your circle of excellence, taking ownership and accountability for how you show up today in this moment. Right now in this moment, how am I showing up? I'm going to let go of all those beliefs that serve me no purpose, and I'm going to radiate as high as I can, because that's what I deserve to attract, because that is easy for me. Everything in your life will change. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to answering your questions and how else I can serve you. But I wish you an abundance of success, an abundance of joy in every single area of your life. And remember, we lack nothing. Everything we need is right here. You have everything you need within yourself already. Whatever you need, it's right there. Never, never forget that. It's nice to see you all. I can see all your questions. Thank you. And the message here is, I really wanted to, oh, that's wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful comments. Thank you so much. I think David's just coming back now. Hopefully we'll get him back on. Otherwise, while we're waiting, I might get started on one of those questions. On what it actually means to empower other women. First of all, as women, fixing each other's crown, we really need to understand what that is. And whenever we come together in a room full of women, the first thing we do is we look for things that we don't like about ourselves, right? And we see this on reality TV shows, how one woman will just, you just look at her and you'll cringe and go, oh, how is she just so horrible? And actually what we want to do is we want to do the complete opposite, where we can look for things in other women that we like, things that we like about them, and then things that we can find about them, but also within ourselves as well. So I hope that answers the first question. David's here.
I am.
To see David with us.
Thanks, Julie. Sorry, I was so energized by your presentation. I think that energy turn my computer off, just like that.
Fair enough. It happens.
It does, doesn't it? But again, thank you for your presentation. Inspiring as always. Lots of great feedback from our participants today. They loved your presentation. There's a follow-up question there as well. Secondly, what advice do you have for someone who needs to go into a meeting with other women, which that person knows is going to be difficult, confronting? What can that person say to those other women to de-escalate or remind the other women to fix their crowns?
I love this question. I was hoping that you were going to ask it. I think this is something that we can all resonate with so well, is actually the anticipation of what's going to happen. So the first thing we want to do in a situation like this is address worst case scenarios and go into this situation straight away. And whether you are the one taking ownership over this meeting, or it could even just be walking into a room full of women at a restaurant, or the same method applies. What is the end result you'd like? So these women coming together, what is the end result? And the end result would always be fixing each other's crown, having a hug and moving forward. So sometimes just starting with that. And this is a term we use in NLP of presupposing the behaviour we want. So sometimes when we want people to be supportive and show love and compassion, we presuppose the behaviour we want them to have. So I would start the meeting with, I love the way we are always so supportive when we come together as a team meeting like this. I love the way we value each other's thoughts and we come from a place of kindness. Now, with that in mind, let's get started with the meeting. And that really sets the tone. So presupposing the behaviour you want others to demonstrate is a really powerful tool. I hope that helps.
Great. Thanks, Julie. I was reflecting on myself as you were talking, and I think, I suffer from imposter syndrome too. How do you overcome that? Because it's such a barrier to taking opportunities. Opportunities present, imposter syndrome jumps in, and you miss the opportunity. How do you get over that?
And that's just it. It's gone. It's gone. And it's that thing of why can some people be super successful and go and smash all their goals, and others have these, and they're called counter intentions. For those of you who have been writing and taking notes, it's a very powerful tool to write down. I did touch on the law of attraction, and the law of attraction really comes into play when it comes to imposter syndrome, in really stepping into your circle of excellence and starting to demonstrate. I would suggest to anyone who suffers with this, which most of us have at some stage, how dare I be amazing? How dare I think that I could go and achieve that? And first of all, removing other people from the equation. So never comparing yourself to other people. So that is the first counter intention we have. But then stating what it is you want to claim to the universe, or I call it the divine. So the divine is whatever and this is not a religious thing, it's just we've got to believe that there is something greater than us. I mean, look, we have mouths, we have hands, we have hearts. There's got to be something greater than us. So stating your intention to the divine and being very, very clear on what it is that you want to achieve. And then looking at what that counter intention is. What are those deep buried subconscious thoughts and beliefs that you have? And remember, our thoughts and what we think, especially when we have imposter syndrome, is not the reality. It's not really who we are. They are just our thoughts. So if you can remove those thoughts from the imposter syndrome and then step into your circle of excellence and say, who do I need to be in order for me to get that promotion, in order for me to be that leader, in order for me to be that mother or that friend or whatever it is you want to achieve, who do I need to be today so that I can get to where I want to be? And this was the secret of my success 20 years ago. Who do I need to be in order to stand on a stage to 10,000 people? Who do I need to be today to achieve that? And that really just sets the tone, and then it's one foot in front of the other once you've got that momentum.
Thanks, Julie. That's helpful. COVID's been really challenging for all of us, of course, over the last couple of years. But, there's always an upside. I'm just interested on your view, really, in relation to that. Has COVID given us more time to think, to slow down, to, I guess, evaluate what's important?
Well, I've got COVID today, so that's a very personal question for me. Family of 5, all with COVID. I've navigated businesses through the last 2 years, which has been, I have to say, has been traumatic. Some of the stories and some of the people who have come through, COVID really is a mindset thing. As long as you haven't been affected from it from a physical perspective, then that's completely different. But navigating through COVID, some people have come through COVID better versions of themselves. And I'm definitely one of these people who I use the time to spend with my family, reflect. There's that stupid word pivot that we hear all the time, where we become more resourceful. And I think as a working industry, we get so used to doing what we know, and we stick with what we know, and we forget that we are an abundance of resources. So if plan A is not working and plan B is not working, we've got all these blocks, what else can we do? So I think it's really pushed us, definitely in the workplace, I think it's pushed us to use more of our resourcefulness.
Great. Got a couple of questions from our attendees, Leanne and Amy, kind of on a similar theme, really. They're really keen to know where they can go to get more information about what we've been talking about today, Julie, and also where perhaps they could get training.
Sure. So my company is Total Coaching Academy. You can just jump onto my website. You can call the office, or you can email me. I don't know whether I can't pop anything in the notes direct, but I've got a team of people, but I'm very, very hands-on. And my email address is Julie, just Julie, @totalcoachingacademy.com. And feel free to send me anything that's resonated with you today, or maybe some of your blocks that you want a bit more work with, or any way that I can support you, feel free to just reach out to me. And of course, you can find me on social media as well, Julie Piantadosi on my name, and on Instagram, it's just Total Coaching Academy. Just send a DM and I'll set you up with whatever you need. My highest power is to inspire as many people as possible. That is my calling and what I'm destined to do. So whatever that looks like, I honestly believe if the time is right for you and you are here for, everything is about the right time. So for those of you, I saw how many of us were online, and there were so many. It's about being at the right time at the right place, and you've got to trust that process for yourself.
Absolutely. And of course, we're going to look forward to seeing you at the CAA Congress in August.
Wait.
Women in Leadership. So we're excited about that. So again, that's an opportunity for our viewers and members to spend some more time with you at Congress. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'll be there the whole time. So looking forward to really not just training and teaching, but also just being there to really network and get to those questions one-on-one as well. So thank you for everything that every single one of you do, and continue to step into your circle of excellence and be the best version of yourself for yourself.
And thank you, Julie, for taking the time to spend with us today. We really appreciate it. Always inspirational, always inspiring. And I know lots of people have gone away today. We had in excess of 100 viewers, and they've gone away with some deeper thoughts about how they can become their best self. And I'm sure they're going to, pursue that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you in August, if not before.
Yes, lovely. Thank you, David.
And don't forget, our next seminar is coming up a month from now on April the 28th. We're looking at stroke pre-hospital informed decision making using EEG recordings. Great presentation from a colleague in Queensland. So I hope to see you then, and thank you again for joining today. Bye now.
Thank you for attending Women in Leadership, Real Women Fix Each Other's Crowns, presented by Julie Pantadossi and proudly supported by Total Coaching Academy. Join us for our next webinar on Thursday the 28th of April at 11 a.m. for CAA 2021 Awards for Excellence Star Award winner Stroke Pre-Hospital Informed Decision Making using EEG recordings, presented by Wayne Luden. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up to date. Twitter @CAA Australasia, and Facebook and LinkedIn, the Council of Ambulance Authorities Australasia. You can also view all of our upcoming webinars by visiting www.caa.net.au/webinars. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.